Hello, I'm Daniel, and welcome to the Emunah Project. We here at the Emunah Project are continuing in our series of videos with respect to guidance and advice, education, inspiration, and in this case, explanation. I was having a discussion with a very perceptive young lady, and we were discussing the passage in Leviticus dealing with sacrifices for Tzaraas. This is a spiritual malady, a spiritual disorder. It doesn't have a physical source like actual leprosy. It comes from Lashon Hara and also elements of pride and arrogance, because someone who's spreading malicious gossip has pride and the arrogance that he's better than whoever he's gossiping about. And the passage goes, this is Leviticus 14:4. The Kohen shall command to take for him that is to be cleansed 2 living clean birds, and here's the interesting part, and cedar wood and crimson thread and hyssop. Now Rashi's commentary says that the cedar wood and the hyssop and the red thread, it's an allusion to the need for humility, and the Metzora, the person with the Tzaraas, his need to focus and neutralize his arrogant nature. And this is the consistent with Chazal's view that Tzaraas, these plagues, are a result not only of Lashon Hara but of arrogance and boastfulness and pride. It was Harav Shimon Schwab who explains the significance of the cedar, the red thread, and the hyssop. And it's a good thing too, because the very perceptive young lady came to me with this passage and said, "What does a stick, a thread, and a piece of a bush have to do with pride and arrogance? I mean, seriously?" Well, Rav Shimon Schwab suggests that these 3 objects signifies 3 types of humility. For example, the hyssop. This is someone who feels he's completely insignificant. He's lowly. He has is very, very, very low. Like a hyssop, which is a bush that grows usually near a wall, and people walk by it and they ignore it because it has virtually no value. The hyssop is like this person, this type of humility. He figures he's low and has no redeeming values. The next type of humility, this is a person who doesn't feel he's a complete zero, but he realizes there's a lot of room for improvement. This person is symbolized by the red thread. Chazal say that the dye that makes this thread red comes from a certain kind of worm or slug or some lowly creature. And when this person looks at the thread, he realizes that he is low. He does have some good qualities, but like a worm, he's very, very low, and like the aversion that people have to the worm, so should his aversion be to his sinful nature. He realizes he's got a lot to be modest about. And now comes the next person, the cedar. This person doesn't think he's nothing. He acknowledges he has good qualities. He acknowledges he's a good person, that he gives charity, that he's a Torah scholar, that he's very, very knowledgeable. But he also appreciates that compared to the sages of yesteryear, compared to the Gedolim, the great people of the past, he pales in comparison. even to the tzaddikim, to the righteous people of this generation. I mean, he may be a Torah scholar, but compared to some of the greats, Rav Moshe Feinstein, Olav Sholem, Rav Chaim Kanievsky, all these great scholars, he's a piker. Why the cedar? Because it's just a stick, but it comes from a gigantic, mighty tree. But he's from that tree, but he's a stick. So this is how, in the korban, the sacrifice for Tzaraas, for the spiritual leprosy, we have the cedar, we have the crimson thread, and we have the hyssop. And this is how, according to Rav Shimon Schwab, this is how Chazal, Rashi say these elements prompt the Metzora, the person with the Tzaraas, to do tshuva and to reduce his haughty and prideful nature, which is one of the sources of Lashon Hara, the malicious gossip that brought about the Tzaraas in the first place. We're going to be doing more videos along these lines. I hope you're finding them educational and inspirational. And until next time, on behalf of the Emunah Project, I'm Daniel, and thank you too much.